Welcome everyone, I'm Alison with Continental Bead Suppliers. Thank you so much for joining me. We're excited to share the gorgeous Marina Bracelet with you today. A fusion of fabulous textures. This is boho chic at its finest. We'll visit childhood memories of conquering macrame or macramé techniques, but by kicking it up a notch, adding sparkling cup chain to sit alongside the stunning Pignose Mariner Chain. The charms will just add to the delight of Marina Bracelet. Let's begin. To create our 7-inch Marina Bracelet, we will be using 3 inches of the gold Pignose Mariner Chain. The part number is CH-941. 3 inches of the gold finish Crystal Cup Chain. Part number is CH-848. 3 links of the gold Crystal Channel Specialty Chain. Part number is CH-154. 1 Hamsa hand charm. The part number is K125. 5 feet of the 1mm cotton cord cut into 2 lengths, 1 2-foot length and 1 3-foot length. It's a little bit more than we need, but it's easier to work with. The part number is WC. 1 8mm gold cord end cap. Part number is CCAP8. 1 12 by 7mm gold lobster clasp. The part number is C902. 6 20 gauge 2-inch head pins. The part number is H/P2. 5 21 gauge 6mm jump rings. The part number is JR6. 2 18 gauge 8mm jump rings. The part number is J/R8. About 4 inches of a 22 gauge wire. I'm using the brass artistic wire here. 6 crystal pearls or any other bead of your choice. A macrame board, which is this piece of cork here. You can use a cork board or a clipboard or whatever else you can use to secure the chain as we begin to work with it. So you'll need some pins with that too. 2 pairs of flatnose pliers, 1 pair of roundnose pliers, 1 pair of chain nose pliers, a flush cutter, thread and cord cutter or a sharp pair of scissors, and some hypo cement to seal the knot. I mentioned in the supplies list that we would be cutting our cotton cording into a 2-foot length and a 3-foot length. If you haven't already done this, I'm going to amend that just to cut so that you can just cut the cord in half, so 2.5 foot lengths. If you have already cut it, no worries, just keep it as it is. I'd just like you to keep the shorter cord as what we're going to call the filler cord. So that'll be the 2 center cords, but it'll all become apparent. It's not really too much of an issue because we have enough cord, but if you want to just cut it in half, that would be great. So we're going to find the midpoint of our cords here, making sure that everything is going to be lying parallel. So that's about the midpoint there. So these cords are going to lie together like this. So our midpoint here, and we're going to take this loop through the end, the last loop of our Pignose chain here. So just pop that through. And then we're going to create a bit of a loop to bring these tails through here. And as you're tightening this up, I'd like to see if we can get this to lie flat and parallel so there's no major bumps going on. So let's see how this works. So you can see that they're lying nicely together, and I have 2 cords which I'm going to use as my center cords here. So we'll call these a filler cord. Okay, so everything's lying nice and flat. So the next thing we're going to do is to secure this to the macrame board, piece of cork, whatever it is that you have to use. We still need to be able to lift this up a little bit as we're working with it. So just in a couple of spots to keep it secure. Like that. The next thing that we're going to do is just lay these cords out so we can see what's going on. So I'm right-handed. I'm going to start on the right side. So I'm going to take this right hand cord and lay it over. Perhaps just put another pin in there just to bring this down for now. Just lay it over the two filler cords and underneath this left cord. So it's going to be sitting like that. This left cord is going to go underneath the two filler cords and up through this loop here. So you can see how we're just going to snug this up. So I'm just going to move it up. I don't want to tighten it too much at the moment because I want to then take, oops, twisted that over. You just want this to lie as flat as possible to start off. So it may just take a minute to just lay that so you can see that a little bit better. I've got to start getting the cup chain in here. So I'm going to take this length of cup chain and place it just underneath this cording that's going over. So you can see I've got this nice and snug in here. The cup chain is sitting over the two filler cords, which will always remain in the center. So the next thing we're going to do, and make sure that you pull this nice and snug, so it's just trapping this little first cup in there. So the next thing we're going to do is take the left cord over the cup chain and the filler cord, take the right cord over the left cord, and we're going to go under the filler and the cup chain and come up through the loop. So again, don't tighten this up until we get ourselves into position here. It'll become easier as we move further along. Just keep making sure that this is snug. So that's the second one in position. And we'll continue on. So the right cord comes over the cup chain and the fillers. This left cord goes over the right cord and then underneath the cup chain and the fillers and up through this loop, sorry. And then we'll just snug this up. And you can see how this is beginning to get a bit of a pattern, a knotting pattern going on here. And just keep making sure that everything is brought nice and snug to keep this cup chain trapped in here like this. So we'll continue on. Just a little tip, if you do get lost as to where you are in, whether you're making the loop on the right side or the left side, if you have, you can see these little bumps that we've got going on alternate sides. The side that you want to make the loop on is the side that has the bump on it. So now we're going to be making the loop on the left side here. So it comes over. The right cord comes over the left cord, underneath the filler and the cup chain, and it comes up through that loop there. So you can now see that we formed the bump on the right hand side. So we're going to just pull this nice and snug, making sure that the filler cords are just lying parallel to each other and the cup chain is lying ahead. One more time. So we've got the bump on this right side. We'll make our loop here. So we're coming over the filler and the cup chain. The left cord will be coming over that cord and under the filler and the cup chain and up through the loop. And you're always catching on this metal bridge between the cup chains to keep everything in position. So here we go. Again, we've got the bump on the left side, so we're going to be forming our loop there. So this comes over everything. The right cord is coming over this left cord, but under the filler and the cup chain, and up through the loop. It's just a question of taking your time, and it becomes a little bit of a muscle memory here as to what you're doing. But again, always remember that if you get mixed up, your loop starts on this side with the bump here. I'm going to continue down and finish this little bit off here, and I'll come back. So all the cup chain is now in. I'm going to do one last square knot here to finish this bit off. And now I'm going to take the pins out, and we're going to tie an overhand knot here. Whoops, I've got bits of cork all in here. And we're going to tie an overhand knot, but at the same time we're going to trap a piece of wire in. So this is how we just do a regular overhand knot. Just make sure all 4 cords come through. And just start snugging this up a little bit. Before it gets too tight, you can pull each cord individually. Before it gets too tight, I just want to slide this bit of 22 gauge wire in here. And then I'm going to pull this really snug. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And if you look on the back, you can see that the filler cords are running parallel to each other all the way through. Okay, so everything's just is nice and neat. Okay. Now I'm going to bend this wire up and twist the short tail here together to capture the knot for some security. So it's just, you can do it with your pliers, you can do it with your hand, but just get this wire as tight as you can around here. Just a couple of times to secure it. I'm actually just going to bend this down to form a little hook, just a little added security here. And I'm going to trim this off with the flush cutters. Don't trim the cording just yet. So I've got that trapped in here. The next thing I want to do is to just seal this knot with a little bit of the hypo cement. So I'm just going to put a couple of dabs in here, just so that it doesn't start coming undone on us. Just in a couple of little areas. Keep it towards this end of the knot, because if there happens to be a little bit of this sticking out the end of the cord, you don't want to see glue seeping out. So we'll just let that dry and then we'll trim the cording down. The cording's now trimmed off, so I'm going to add the bead cap on here. So just thread the wire through, and it could be just a little bit fiddly just to make sure that this knot slides in here. If you're having trouble, just take your flat nose pliers and give it a little tug and squiggle it around a bit to push that in there. There you go. So let's see, that's nice and neat in there. We're going to now create a wrapped loop on the end here. The way that I do that is with my chain nose pliers. Just at the tip of the plier, right at the bead cap here, just push the wire away from you, form a 90-degree angle. Swap up to the round nose pliers. I'm in about 1/4 of an inch to form this loop. So up over the top till the wire touches the bead, or the bead cap in this case, 1/4 turn underneath. Now I like to go over the plier with my flat nose pliers here. Then I'm going to wrap this wire around. As you see, I've been pretty generous with the length of wire I've used, the length of the cording. It's just much easier than trying to struggle with shorter lengths of things. I know there's a little bit of waste, but it does make life a little bit easier. So here we've got our wrapped loop. Trim off with the flush cutters. There. And just, if there's a little bit of spring back on the wire, just tweak that in with the chain nose pliers. And there you have your wrapped loop. So we're going to set the chain part aside for a moment, and we'll begin creating the 6 open loop little charms with the pearls. As I mentioned, you can certainly use any bead that you want. So we begin this by threading the bead onto the head pin. Just draw the wire down to form a 90-degree angle there. We'll trim off, leaving about 1 centimetre wire. Take the round nose pliers, and again I always have these pliers marked for the sizing. So we'll just form a nice little open loop here. There's our first one, so we've got 5 more to do. So we've got the 6 pearls finished. We're going to take the Hamsa hand and open the 6mm ring and attach this on. Make sure that that's closed nicely. Then we're going to take an 8mm ring and open this up. And thread it onto the wrap loop end that we made here. We're then going to attach 3 of these little pearls. and the hamsa on the jump ring there. Make sure this is closed nicely. Okay. Then on this other end, we're going to take apart these 3 links. So they're going to form little dangles. So you can see that there's a little oval ring that's connecting them. We have to snip this with the flush cutter. Make sure you don't snip anything else, probably in 2 spots. You can do it just to bring them apart like this. We're then going to take a little pearl charm each and attach it onto one loop end of this. Close it up. We'll do that with each of the 3 of them. Last one. We're then going to attach the 3 jump rings onto this end here, so that these then become dangly charms on this other end, on the lobster clasp end. I just love charms. It adds such a lot of movement to pieces. I just think it ups the design elements so nicely. And it's such an easy add to pieces. Last one here. This. We're going to be taking the 8mm ring, open it up, attach it to the last link of the Pignose chain. Then we'll add on the 3 little charms that we made. And close this up. We'll take the last 6mm ring, attach it to the lobster clasp, and then onto the 8mm ring. It doesn't really matter where it sits. It can sit between one of the little charms here or at the end of all 3 of them. But we'll add that on there and close this up. And here we have Marina Bracelet. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, we love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.